Good morning, boys and girls. I wanted to make sure that you were not going to miss out on how to do the chapter 7 math problems. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to record some lessons in case you were having any trouble or in case a substitute didn't understand what they were doing. So we're going to start with chapter 7, lesson 1. This is on page 421. Excuse me for my coarse voice, as after having surgery, I am having some issues with that. We are going to start with multiplication of fractions during this unit. And so today's lesson is finding parts of a group. I want to point out that when we are reading the word of generally in a problem means to multiply. So we are going to take a look at multiplying here. And we're going to take a look at it in a few different ways. So the question says, Maya collects stamps. She has 20 stamps in her collection. 4/5 of her stamps have been canceled. How many of the stamps of Maya's collection have been canceled? So they're asking us to take a look and put counters on our math board. So we can come down here to this, and they want us to put 20 counters on our math board. But because we have a fraction of 4/5, the bottom number tells you how many groups you should have. And so we're going to arrange the counters into 5 groups. And so one thing, opposite of multiplying, is dividing. So how many times can we put the groups into, how many counters will we put in the 5 groups? So we can figure that out by dividing. So using your math multiplication chart, or if you remember your math facts, 20 divided by 5 is 4. So you're going to place 4 counters in every one of those groups. So just draw in 4 dots, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you do that, you can see there are 4 in each counter, and this would be 5 groups. Then because we are going to say we need 4/5, every group represents 1/5 of the group. And so we need to circle 4 of those groups that we're going to count. So we circled 4 groups. And so to find out how many counters we have, we can see that we have 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So 4/5 of 20 is 16, or like I told you, it is multiplying. 4/5 times 20 is 16. So the answer would be 16. Now that's one way we can do that. Another way we can quickly do this is a little trick. And it only works if the bottom number of the fraction can equally divide into the top number. So the one trick I always say is we can divide by the bottom, and then we'll multiply by the top. So let's take a look at that quick way. So if you do 20 divided by the bottom of the fraction, which is 5, get 4. And then we take that answer and we multiply 4 times the top, which is 4. There's your 16. So if the top number or the bottom number goes equally into the single number, we can divide by the bottom multiplied by the top. Let's take a look at the next page. So Max's stamp collection has stamps from different countries. He has 12 stamps from Canada. Of those 12, 2/3 of them have pictures of Queen Elizabeth. How many stamps have queens on them? It wants us to draw an array representing the 12 stamps by drawing an X for each stamp. Since you want to find 2/3 of the stamps, your array should show 3 rows with an equal number of X's. So I said if we can divide by the bottom, so can we do 12 divided by 3? That would be yes, so that's 4. And we can multiply by the top, which is 2. So my total answer is going to be 8. Now you are going to be asked to do this on Think Central. So this method here also helps us to draw our array. How many X's will we put in each row? That would be 4. So we need 3 rows of X's. And we're going to put, I'm sorry, that's a column. So we need 3 rows of X's. And we're going to put 4 stamps in each row. And we're going to circle 2 of the 3 rows. And if we count there are 8 X's circled. So 2/3 of 12 is 8. And so of course they want us to put 8 in all of those. On our math board, use the counters to find 4/6 of 12 and explain why the answer is the same when you find 2/3 of 12. Now I want us to take a look at this 4/6 fraction, and I want us to take a look at 2/3 of a fraction. One thing that I'm hoping you're starting to notice is that 4/6 can be simplified. And 4/6 is the same as 2/3 if I divide them by 2. So 4/6 divided by 2, 2 over 2, or the whole of 2, would get me the equivalent fraction of 2/3. So the reason why that's the same is because 4/6 is equivalent to 2/3. So that is why they are the same. So let's go through and do a few more of these. Let's find the problem. Susanna has 16 stamps in her collection. 3/4 of the stamps are from the United States. How many of her stamps are from the United States? And how many are not? So to do this, let's take a look at that easy way. 3/4 of 16. Remember, we divide by the bottom. So 16 divided by 4 equals 4. We multiply by the top, which is 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. So 12 of them are from the United States, but they do ask how many are not. So we need to take how many total, which is 16, and subtract the 12. So 16 minus 12 will be 4. So 4 stamps are not. And you should see that 12 plus the 4 equals 16. So what I want to take a look at here is if we were drawing that array. So we would have 4 rows with 4 in each. And when we were done, we would then circle 3 of those. And seeing that we would circle 3, you could see that there would be 12 of them we'd circle, and then 4 of them we would not, which is another way that we could take a look at getting those answers. Let's take a look at 423. So they gave us these there, so we can use them. So complete the model to solve 7/8 of 16, or 7/8 times 16. So how many rows of counters are there? There's 2 rows. And how many rows are in each counter? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows. And we're going to circle let's switch those around, my fault. There are 8 rows, and there are 2 counters in each row. And we're going to circle 7 of those. So then we can count how many we circled. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 are circled. So the answer would be 14. Let's take a look at this, that quick way that I showed you. 7/8 times 16 We divide by the bottom, which equals 2. And we multiply by the top, which equals 14. So let's take a look at number 2. 2/3 of 18. We're going to divide by the bottom. 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Multiply by the top, which will be 12. So that, boys and girls, is why I said, let's take a look at that quick way. Because these, when you're going to draw everything, could take you a lot longer. And you know I always show you those shortcuts. So I'm going to leave 3 and 4 for you to do on your own. We're going to come down here and do 5. Divide by the bottom, 24 divided by 8. Look on your charts if you need to. Hopefully you already found it, and it's 3. Multiply by the top, 3 times 5, and the answer is 15. Taking a look here, this is the issue that we have. So even Mrs. Walls was drawing them a little backwards over there. What multiplication problem does this represent? So we see 3 rows, so that's on the bottom. They circled 2 of those. Multiply by, find out how many total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it equals 6. So we've got 3 rows, they circled 2. That's where I got my 2/3. There's 9 total, and then I can count how many they circled. Of course, as long as you can do this trick, you're going to get the answers. Let's take a look at the next one. Number 9. 4/5 of Zach's, so there's my multiplication symbol, have pictures of animals. How many stamps with pictures of animals does Zach have? Use the model to solve. So we look over here, he has 30. So it's 4/5 of 30. So I want you to use that trick to be able to solve that problem then on your own. So you'll divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. Zach, Tara, and Paco combine the foreign stamps from their collection for a stamp show. Out of their collection, 3/10 of Zach stamps, 5/6 of Terry stamps, and 3/8 of Paco stamps are for foreign countries. How many stamps were in their display? And explain how you solve the problem. So I need to find 3/10 of Zach's. I need to find 5/6 of Terry's. And then I need to find 3/8 of Paco's. And then I will get these answers and add them all together. So let's do that one. We're going to divide by the bottom. 30 divided by 10 is 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And 3 times 5 is 15. And then 24 divided by 8 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And then I'm going to add those 3 together. So there's 9 plus 9 is 18. I'm going to regroup those. 18 plus 5, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Put the 3 down, carry the 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So 33 stamps. Going down, let's look at Paula has 24 stamps in her collection. Among her stamps, 1/3 have a picture of animals. Out of her stamps with pictures of animals, 3/4 of those stamps have pictures of birds. How many stamps have pictures on birds on them? This is the go deeper one. So we need to solve the first problem, which is 1/3 of 24 to find out how many have animals. So divide by the bottom, 24 divided by 3 is 8. Multiply by the top, 8 times 1 is 8. So that's how many have animals. Now we need to do 3/4